most importantly, it's the over and above the passion, it's the purpose that I've been able to identify. One has to have a broader perspective on life. One has to be global in terms of how they're thinking. I think as a business person, the customer, it's listening to the customer and giving them a seat at your table.
Have you checked out the UCA Hub? If you're an entrepreneur out there and you need business templates, tools, or you're looking for content and to learn from experts in the field to help your business scale and grow and provide you with all the templates that are needed from an infrastructure perspective, then sign up to our hub today.
Hello everyone, welcome to our new series of On the Couch with Unconventional CA. Today I've got a guest, Dineo Mokapela, a seasoned expert in the retail industry itself. But with everything unconventional, Dineo, before I even ask you to introduce yourself, I've got an icebreaker question for you. And I want to ask you this. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my goodness. I want to dance to somebody.
Oh, you want to dance to somebody? I like that. Lovely. Oh,
Yeah,
so that's what we will make a note of when we publish everything. Oh, thank you for that. Do you still listen to the song?
From time to time, yeah, if I want to lift up my mood.
Lift up your mood?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're talking about lifting up your mood. Maybe just explain in your own experience how listening to music helps you lift up your mood, because as UCA, we obviously focus a lot on a personal development of an entrepreneur, and it's these software elements that we often find critical that people often underwrite.
Yeah. So I use music a lot for my mood and to stay positive. Like in the morning, I'll listen to gospel music, and throughout the day, if I'm not that busy, anything just to lift me up. A bit of fast music, depending on what pace I'm moving. But yeah, so music definitely plays a big role. So yeah.
So scientifically, it's researched and proven that what you listen to can affect your energy levels and can change your mood levels depending on the different types of it. So it's a good way to kickstart your day.
Yes, definitely.
Lovely.
Definitely.
So if you're an entrepreneur out there and you're having a dull day, maybe you need to spice it up with some nice music that can help uplift you and your mood, and it'll allow you to change the way you have an outlook on life itself there. So getting into the realities of it all, Dineo, obviously you've been in the retail industry for quite a while. What really made you get into this space?
I think for me, it's firstly been a love for people, because retail is all about the people, be it your employees or the customer and so on. So for me, it's firstly the love for people. I am a problem solver, so I'm very solutions orientated as a person. And I think most importantly, it's the over and above the passion, it's the purpose that I've been able to identify in terms of impacting people's lives positively and contributing to the industry in whatever small shape or form. So for me, that's basically, it's finding that purpose for myself, and that gives me the reason to wake up every morning. Yeah.
So you use an interesting word, passion and purpose, when it comes to waking up every morning. Now, you've obviously worked with a lot of entrepreneurs in your time in the retail industry space itself. Why would you think passion and purpose is very fundamental to anyone who's looking to start a business and wanting to come up with the next innovative idea? Instead of just chasing the money part of it, why is it important for them to consider that? Why are you passionate about this, and what's the purpose behind you actually doing this?
I think purpose gives you, first of all, it gives you a reason to wake up. Secondly, when the tough gets going, it's that fuel that keeps you going, to say, what, even when you feel like I want to give up, purpose will be there to drive you, because money can come, but if you drive the why I'm doing what I'm doing, and you're solving a problem in society, in whatever form, money will come. But if it's just all about the money, then soon when you have the money, then you start to feel like, then what? But with purpose, it's more rewarding. So it's more like seeking value out of what you're doing.
So if you're an entrepreneur or aspiring to be an entrepreneur out there, just remember what Dineo has mentioned. Purpose and passion gives you the fuel when the dark days arrive to remember what is critical to your journey as an entrepreneur and why you embarked on it. It'll allow you to then align with what monetary requirements will flow in your business ultimately. Because if you don't have a strong enough why, your business is likely to fail at the end of it all.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed.
Good. Oh, I love it. So tell me more from an advice perspective to entrepreneurs itself. You know, those that are looking to foster innovation in their business, what advice would you give if you say top 3 things that a person should look at if he's trying to be innovative and differentiate their business? What would they need to consider?
I'd say the first thing is to be a visionary. One has to have a broader perspective on life. One has to be global in terms of how they're thinking. And the second thing I'd say, after being visionary, one needs to understand that innovation is not a once-off exercise, but a continuous thing that one needs to. If you commit to being in business, you need to understand that innovation is something that is a continuous process that will enable you as a business person and your business to stay sustainable and to remain even for years to come. So I think those are the key aspects that I would say.
So you've summarized it in 2 aspects. One is be a visionary, and also as a SMME, don't think that you're an SMME. Start to think global and out the box as well. Where can you reach out? And you make a critical point, because working with a lot of SMMEs, what we found is they bucket themselves into that terminology, small, medium, micro enterprise. Yeah. And then their mindset is, no, I need to behave like that. And they don't have the big vision ultimately to run into a corporate mode there. And then the second one is, it's critical that you continuously foster innovation internally and look at your competitors from a landscape perspective and what they're doing so that you stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Awesome.
How's it, guys? I'm Hiten.
And I'm Jamil.
And we're the co-founders at Unconventional CA. And today we're just here to tell you a little bit more about Igniting Growth.
Igniting Growth is really about helping you understand your why. Why are you in business? And why is your business not flourishing?
So, if you're an entrepreneur who's feeling stuck, you feel that you have unutilized potential, and your business is able to flourish to the next level, but it isn't there just yet.
Or if you are in corporate and you need to take your side hustle to the next level,
then be sure to follow us on social media, where we will be sharing over the next few months personal stories of entrepreneurs that we've helped evolve and ignite growth in their personal journeys and in their businesses.
And what better way to learn from other entrepreneurs that we've supported as Unconventional CA, and learning from them and taking some of those nuggets of information and incorporating them into your business.
So hit that follow button on all the social media platforms, and be sure to follow our latest podcast launch on YouTube.
Also, we have some exciting news for all you future millionaires and budding entrepreneurs out there. So I'm not able to share more, but please follow us on social media and you'll see the exciting announcement in the next couple of months.
Igniting growth.
Igniting growth.
Igniting growth.
So then, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs when it comes to prioritizing customer satisfaction? You know, in the retail industry game, it's very people-focused to what you said, and customer satisfaction is critical. Definitely. So many entrepreneurs chasing, I just want the money, I just want the deal, but they forget that a recurring customer is a sustainable business in the long term.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to them in your experience when it comes to customer satisfaction and how to embed that?
So I'd say in line with taking back into innovation, innovate around the customer, number one. And the solutions that you come up with as a business person should be customer centric. So this involves listening to the customer. What is the customer saying? What makes them happy? What makes them sad? And how can you work your product around their needs? So it's developing product around what the customer requires versus what I think as a business person the customer. It's listening to the customer and giving them a seat at your table and letting them have a voice in basically what you going to whatever product or service that you're going to offer. And I think from that point, then you are able to satisfy the customer. And just continuous feedback is very important in customer service, in ensuring that you stay up to date with how they feel, where they are. So have your pulse always on the customer.
So, are there any tools or technologies that SMMEs could deploy from a customer satisfaction perspective on an ongoing basis to engage? Because you mentioned get them around the table, and sometimes it's not always easy to get the customer around the table and have a one-on-one engagement. But now with digital and technology and the world is evolving, I'm sure there's multiple ways that someone could do that still.
Yeah, it's, for example, through email. So you could put out a survey, ask specific questions, and just to get the feel. For example, you can ask a simple question: would you recommend this business to the next person? Would you recommend this business? I think that's a very basic question. And a simple yes or no would give you an indication of whether the customer is happy or not with the current level of service or the product itself. So using social media, that's also a tool that one can get feedback from the customer and that ongoing communication.
Great. So again, if you're looking at running your business and you're struggling with customer satisfaction or customer retention, just remember, spend some key time with your customers where you get deliberate feedback with them. Do it whether quarterly, biannually, or annually, and utilize a combination of in-person and digital technologies at the tips of your fingers so that you stay abreast with what is it that your customer wants rather than what you think your customer wants. So then, looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges for entrepreneurs in the retail sector? And what advice would you give to those aspiring to start a retail business? If they are to go into it, what do they need to do to succeed?
Okay, so I think from my experience, I see that there's lots of opportunities for collaboration between startup businesses and large corporates. And we have seen success stories in the collaboration of the two. So the big businesses have got the scale, they've got the resources, they've got the financial muscle, and so on. The small businesses have got the agility, they've got the chances to take risk, and they've got the ideas that you would not necessarily find in a well-established corporate environment. So if the two merge, then the two synergies can be combined and build something that can be of beneficiation to provide a competitive advantage for the big business, but also to benefit the startup to also grow into a medium-sized business as well.
So you use an interesting point that the startups should try and embed themselves into the supply chains of corporate. Now we know there's a lot of red tape when it comes to corporates and supply chain and actually just getting on the database itself. What advice would you suggest to someone who's new into it and has no necessarily direct links with any influential people in the corporate world that are in the retail industry, but he's got this innovative idea and breakthrough that can give the competitive advantage to the corporate? However, it doesn't have that relationships or the networks necessarily. How do you suggest they go about building that?
I think it's something that does take a bit of time and a bit of patience, I would say. However, if you've got this idea that you believe can work and provide a competitive advantage, I think it's to package it in such a way that you show true value, even into the long term, and present it in a manner that would not necessarily be irresistible, but for the organization to see that if we don't go for this option, then even in the future we stand to lose out. So it's to try and make it so irresistible, and I know it's not always easy. However, it's just showing the benefit for the bigger corporate. If they don't go for this option, for example, it would be kind of a loss for them.
So creating FOMO.
Kind of, yes.
I like that. So again, so if you're looking at getting into the retail industry, you don't have any relationships or networks. Firstly, you have Dineo here, and you can reach out to us at Unconventional CA, and we'll gladly introduce you to her. However, again, parallel to that, no other networks or relationships. Start building a value proposition that creates FOMO in the eyes of the corporate, that they can't resist your product offering or the service offering that you're bringing to them. And then that goes into my last question. You've obviously seen success stories in the retail industry where startups have come in and they've worked with major corporates, with the likes of Mr. Price, Woolworths,
yeah.
and all those bigger companies and brands. Can you share with us some of these success stories, and what were the lessons that you would take from those success stories that worked well that may allow those startups to succeed?
I can start with TFG and Pago. It started very small, and because of the success in customer satisfaction that has been achieved, we spoke about customer satisfaction. In that process, it's listening to the customer, what makes a hit, what doesn't make it, and correct along the way. So we've seen that success story play out even in the marketplace between Pago and TFG. We have seen the success story between Woolworths and isikhwama. So isikhwama is also a startup company that produces the recycling reusable bags for Woolworths, and that partnership still continues. Now, it's something that also started very small scale, but now I think they produce about over 1 million bags now.
Sure.
So it's something that's growing. So and that, as you can see, if you look at TFG and Pago, TFG is able to get a sustainable competitive advantage out of that. Woolworths is also getting a sustainable advantage out of that. And also the other point is to look across industries. So as an entrepreneur, not only be focused on retail, but also look across industries. You see Mr. Price partnering with local artists, for example, because that speaks to their brand, that speaks to their youthfulness and who they are as a brand. So I think it's also, as an entrepreneur, not to limit yourself in terms of who you can collaborate with, in terms of what the product that you have. Yeah.
So if I summarize, from our conversation today, critical points I've taken out from this is, if you want to be a startup in the retail industry, make sure you have a clear competitive advantage and value proposition for your potential client that you're wanting to service. But at the same time, there are other opportunities to bring in other elements that can cross-pollinate into the retail industry itself, such as being an artisan or an influencer that can potentially take branding into the retail industry and leverage that for the growth of the corporate clients itself.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Cool. So, closing question. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Okay. I'd start with Nelson Mandela, and then I think I have a few questions for him. But yeah, I think he's been an inspiration to the nation. And secondly, it would be Miles Monroe. He's also passed on, I think. Yeah, he's I think he was a pastor or bishop or something. But yeah, motivational speaker as well. And I'd say I'd like to speak to the I'd meet the CEO of the Batu Group. I think he's a young up and coming
Theo Baloy.
yes. Just to get some insights on how he took off his startup into now it's the Batu Group.
Yes.
We're seeing lots of success coming out of that. So I think it's something very inspirational. So that I'd like to, kind of pick his brain on a few things just to get an understanding of how has he achieved the success and what has kept him, on this path of consistency more than anything that we are seeing out of him. Yeah.
I love the balance that you have of influential people and also up-and-coming influential people that you've got there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Miles Monroe. Not many people actually know Miles Monroe itself because he's an American influencer. But if you follow his content from a personal mastery perspective, very deliberate around what he provides and how he gets people to start challenging their own thinking process. Especially those that are out in the community and outlying areas, and how he challenges the thinking process there. Dineo, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
That comes
It
to
was
the
a
end.
pleasure.